This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder.
The 34th First Annual Ig Nobel Awards took place earlier this month. Each year, the Annals of Improbable Research puts on the event which honors achievements that first make people laugh and then think. Marc Abrahams, the editor of the Annals of Improbable Research, is back with us once again from Boston via Skype to talk about the big winners for 2024. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Peter. It's good to talk to you again.
It's good to talk to you, too. Now, I understand that this was the first time in, 4 years, post-pandemic situation, where you've had this live as opposed to having it online.
Yeah, we've been doing it every year since 1991, and then when the pandemic hit, we had to stop doing it with everybody gathered together in one big room. So for the past 4 years, instead, we sort of made a movie, filming little bits in advance over Zoom and all sorts of stuff like that. But this year, finally, we went back to the good way. Everybody gathered, winners came from around the world. To gather at MIT here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, all in one place.
Now, each year you have a theme, and this year's theme was Murphy's Law. Why Murphy's Law, and how did that theme manifest itself?
Well, we decided long ago that it's good to have a theme every year, so we pick a theme. Murphy's Law seemed to describe the state of the world pretty well right now. Murphy's Law is usually described as the idea that if anything can go wrong, it will. And it did.
And it did. Now, we have limited time here, so I can't go through all the awards, but there are some that I just needed to highlight. First of all, the Peace Prize for this year.
Peace Prize went to B.F. Skinner, a psychologist. The name may be familiar to a lot of people. He died quite a while ago, but he won for one of his lesser-known experiments, something he did in the 1940s, to see the feasibility of housing live pigeons inside missiles to guide the flight paths of the missiles.
And did that work?
A lot better than they expected, yeah. It was never put into practice. And a lot of the difficulty is how do you keep the pigeons not only alive, but sort of healthy and happy while they're riding inside a nose cone of a missile that's flying. But this was in the lead up just before World War II that they started looking into stuff like this.
Now, this is someone who you've honored posthumously for something that took place many, many years ago. Is there a reason why you didn't do him earlier, and is there a reason why you did him now?
Well, the world keeps producing all sorts of stuff that deserves Ig Nobel Prizes, and we choose only 10 in any particular year. So there's no rhyme or reason as to why something will get chosen in a particular year. But we just thought it's really enough. More than enough time has gone by. This really deserves a prize.
Now, I said in the intro that it makes people laugh and then makes them think. Now, I watched the CBS Late Show with Stephen Colbert just a couple of days ago, and he mentioned the Ig Nobel Awards in his monologue. And one of the things he said, which is a comment that I often use amongst scientists in general, but never with the Ig Nobel Prizes. I just want to say that right now. He said, I guess you've discovered the cure for cancer, or we can put all that behind us now because we're doing this. And I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, I saw that too. And they showed where he got it from. He got it from, or his writers got it from seeing a headline on a news site on the internet, but all they saw was the headline. They didn't look at anything beyond the headline, which is kind of sad.
Now, again, as I said, I've never said that about the Ig Nobel Prizes. Yeah. But I'm on the fence right now with the Botany Prize. You got to explain that one to me.
Oh, this is an amazing piece of science. These botanists, these people who study plants, these scientists found a plant. In fact, this plant was well known because if it's growing next to other kinds of plants, it will change the shape of its own leaves to match the shape of the plants right next to it. But they're trying to understand how this happens, and they took the most extreme case they could possibly think of to just start their test, which is, let's put something next to it that looks like a plant, but it's not. Let's get some plastic plants from a supermarket. They did that, and this same plant started to grow its own leaves in the shape of those plastic plants next to them. They did this test over and over and kept getting the same thing. They say they really don't understand how this can be possible, but it seems to happen. So now this is a great scientific mystery they have just uncovered.
That is a mystery.
Yeah.
So they have no answer. Do they have a hypothesis as to what that answer could be?
They just have guesses that they say are pretty much wild guesses. So they're trying to figure out. This is how most science starts, that somebody notices something that just seems so screwy, you laugh at it. And then the more you look at it, you realize, yeah, it's screwy and I'm laughing, but this is happening. It's real. Let's try to figure it out. That's how everything starts.
Now, one of the, I guess, tropes that is out there, one of the things that is just not true, people tend to believe that if you go to a place like Australia, the toilet goes the other way. And I understand that that's a myth.
You may want to rephrase that, Peter, because the words that you just uttered could have many different meanings.
The water in the toilet goes the other way.
What do you mean it goes the other way? You mean it spurts up at you?
No, it's either clockwise or counterclockwise.
Yeah, I mean, but you can take those words different ways.
And that's a myth. That's been debunked. But the anatomy this year.
Sort of no. The idea is that if you have a large body of water and it's swirling, which happens all the time with bodies of water, that it swirls in a different direction in the northern hemisphere than it would in the southern hemisphere. And physicists have looked at this a lot. If you have a very, very big amount of water, that happens reliably. If you have a tiny amount, it doesn't. So somewhere in between, you see a change. Nevertheless, what you're talking about here is a prize that was given to some scientists in Europe who mentioned that as an interesting coincidence. They were looking at the hair on people's heads and the direction that hair swirls, the pattern of the swirl on people's heads. In people who were born in the northern hemisphere compared with people born in the southern hemisphere. And they say that not all cases, but more often than not, you can tell which hemisphere people were born in. Now, this is something that they've just started to look at. They only looked at a small number of people, and they mentioned this connection with water more or less as a joke, just because they don't understand how this could be happening either. So here, again, we have a mystery.
Do they check to see if, in their small sample, whether these people never left their hemisphere, whether they left and went to another hemisphere?
You're asking really good questions here. So they just noticed this a little bit. So this is just the very start of them saying, wow, this is strange. How real is this? How prevalent is this? And if it does happen all the time, what's going on? What's causing this? So this is the start of detectives just noticing a mystery and trying to start to solve it.
We're just about out of time, and there's so many other questions I want to ask about so many other of the categories in this year's awards. But I will ask one more. Physiology.
Yeah, what about physiology?
That award this year, explain that one to me.
That was a team of scientists, most of them Japanese, who discovered that many kinds of mammals are capable of breathing through their anus.
And they discovered this how, and more importantly, why? And the third part of that question is, we are mammals.
Yes, I know. And so do these scientists. And here, too, you've got the beginning of a new detective story about something that seems so strange that at first glance, all you can do is laugh at it. Go read the paper. People can get the paper online, and it points you in lots of interesting directions.
Again, each year you do a fascinating bang-up job with these awards. And again, like I said, it makes people laugh, but then it makes people think. I'm going to ask one more. The Medicine Prize. Share that one with us, please.
Well, the Medicine Prize went to some people, a team in Europe based in several different countries, who did some experiments, and they say that fake medicine that causes painful side effects can be more effective than fake medicine that does not cause painful side effects.
Okay, I'm at a loss at that one.
This is the placebo effect at work.
Obviously, yeah.
It's really mysterious. So this is the start of a new detective investigation into something that just seems really wacky, but apparently happens.
But a placebo has to be made up of something, right? So usually it's a sugar pill.
Really, you could just tell people you gave them a pill and you've just given them a placebo.
Really? Even if they're not taking something physically in their hand, like a sugar pill or of any kind?
Yeah.
Wow. And a placebo can give painful side effects.
Rather than give somebody the real thing, you gave them something that wasn't real, but that they thought was real. That's what a placebo is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again,
and it seems that pretty much all of us get affected by these things, and which can be both good and bad, and it's really, really mysterious how it works.
Well, really, really mysterious is one way to describe the Ig Nobel Awards each and every year. People can find out more information by going online, and you have all that information about all the awards and, more importantly, the research behind it and where you can go to find out more, correct?
Yeah, and you can also see video of the ceremony. You can see most of these winners accepting their prizes which were handed to them by Nobel Prize winners.
Again, amazing. 34th year. Congratulations on 34th year, and we look forward to talking to you next year.
Thanks, Peter. See you at 35.
Marc Abrahams, editor of the Annals of Improbable Research. They are the folks that put out the annual Ig Nobel Awards. You can find out more and also watch all of this year's ceremony by going to their website at improbable.com. And you can go to our website at thestuffile.com to the page for this show, which is show number 0789, and you'll find the links.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestuffile.com. Stuph is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestuffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.